Crisis DN here. Happy to come back at you with another Hockey Parenting 101 video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the hockey glove. Gloves. Should have two, just like any pair of gloves. You need a pair, right? You need to protect those hands and wrists. We're going to talk about why, why wrists? Or what do you mean wrists? The glove, it's a glove. It's like, well, the glove is meant to protect the hand and wrist. It's meant to protect from your elbow pad, forearm pad, which is really a forearm pad as well, down to the glove. And we'll talk about that because that's important, because I see kids quite often coaching, or when I'm just being a parent with my kids at the rink, and I'll see kids with gloves that are tiny, like just fit their hand, like barely can get them on. The hockey glove, especially, it should really be, there should be some room in there when you put it on your hand. It shouldn't be like tight. It should be fairly comfortable. But it comes off fairly easy if you try to throw it off. Hopefully your kids aren't trying to fight. That's not why they're supposed to be loose. But they're supposed to be big. Like you can see, this is almost like, here's my hand and here's my glove. The comparison is like, it's like, wow, it's like almost twice the size of my hand. Well, that's meant for protection. Meant for protection, top of your hand, protection on your wrist, and even in your wrist and lower forearm, I guess. But let me put an elbow pad on and I'll show you what I mean. Let me reach it. So back to elbow pads. This is actually the wrong one, but it'll work for this demonstration. As you can see, my elbow pad, where it goes, like there's a pretty good size, you can see where my wristwatch is at, there's a pretty good size gap here between where traditionally a winter glove would start, like at the top of your hand, wrist, where they connect, and here, right? So if a stick comes down, which sticks when you're playing, and the kids are trying to get the puck, they're trying to lift with their stick to get the puck. If they miss, they'll hit your hand. If they come down as a slash, they'll probably get a penalty, hopefully. But if they get a penalty, great. But if you're also going off the ice because your wrist is messed up from the stick, your game's over as well. So when you put the glove on, as you can see, now I'm completely protected. Like even if they come down on me, this is pretty hard plastic in there and foam, maybe a little piece of plastic, but it's definitely rigid. Not soft, so if I get hit there, it's not going to hurt as much. I might still get a bruise, but hopefully not a broken bone. And I still have range of motion, but that's super important for that protection. You do not want a gap. So that's the glove. Now I can't get my elbow pad off. All right, so that's the glove. That's the kind of sizing you want. So if you can, have your child try on a glove. If you're not sure, there'll be other kids at the rink. Hopefully, if you're doing a swap, you can try multiple pairs of gloves. But you want to make sure the sizing is correct. My daughter's, she's 12, and her glove size is, I think, 1 inch shorter than mine. So, just because she's 12 doesn't mean she she must just need small gloves. That's not true. Make sure you're sizing them based on how big your child is. All right, so enough about actually what you're looking for size. Now, if you're looking at your glove for condition, buying a used glove or getting a used glove, a hand-me-down, swap, whatever, from a gear swap at your rink, make sure a couple things. Make sure the palm is intact. The palm, which you can see is kind of a rawhide leather material or color. That's what it is. That's that kind of material. That's the first thing to go in these things, because of this. When you're using your stick and the tape, it gets tacky, or the tape's tacky, so it grips onto that glove and it's pulling at it constantly. The stick itself is just a hard piece of material, so you're constantly grabbing that. And you're moving around, so you're beating this up pretty good. And after 2-3 seasons, the glove will start to deteriorate. The stitching, like you can see here, I've only had these gloves for a year, and the stitching's already starting to go. So it won't take long before there'll be holes in the fingers. Look at the fingers and the palm for holes. You don't want your kid playing with a glove that has holes in it because they'll get blisters. Unless your hands are calloused up, you're going to get blisters trying to use a glove with holes in it. So, make sure that glove's intact. Just make sure the rest of the stitching is good. Usually this is, you generally don't have to worry about it, but sometimes this the cuff here that protects the upper hand will start to fall apart too. So just make sure that's in good condition. Make sure this is in good condition. It's like the wrist. It's supposed to be a little mobile, so you can move your hand around while you're stick handling. So just make sure it's in good shape. The last thing I'll say about gloves, I've seen recently there's an NHL fad where players, all that I've said, they're not paying attention to any of that. They're actually using gloves with short cuffs because they're claiming it improves their range of motion in their wrists, so it improves their game. Okay, well, if you're an NHL player, you're looking at to squeeze out every ounce of advantage that you can when you're on the ice, because you're playing against the top tier players in the world. So trying to gain any advantage you can. Your son, daughter who's playing, U10, U12, house, or even travel doesn't need a short cuff glove, right? It's not going to make that big of a difference. So don't let your kid talk you into buying a short cuff glove, because if they do and they get hit and they're out for a season, well, they just missed a year's worth of ice time. They're missing ice time if they're out with injuries because they're not wearing the right stuff. So just make sure your kids are wearing the right stuff. So that's all I have on hockey gloves. Again, Crisis DN, I appreciate you guys signing in and checking out my videos. Please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.